Welcome to Follow Your Heart podcast. This podcast is all about helping you turn your passion into a profitable business and ultimately follow your heart's desires of having a freedom-based lifestyle and manifesting your dream life. We are combining all things business and spirituality on this podcast, so we're going to cover things like marketing, sales, strategy, mindset, finance, and sprinkle it in with a little bit of woo-woo. My name is Bekah Komar, and I am your host and a business and strategy coach. And I am so excited that you've chosen this podcast, and let's jump in.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the podcast for another solo episode on spiritual business 101. Today we're talking about the fear of judgment. I'm sitting here at my cabana here in Ometepe, Nicaragua, my new home, as a digital nomad. It's really starting to sink in, guys, that I have created this new reality, manifested this new reality for me of living internationally as a worldwide citizen, living abroad outside of the US, and living in tropical paradise. And being surrounded by nature, as you can hear, as I soften my voice, you can hear the birds in the background singing. It's around 5 p.m. and I'm staring directly at one of the volcanoes, the volcano of Conception. And so beautiful, just seeing the lake and the volcano. And I just sit here and meditate and listen to the birds and watch the butterflies fly by. And the dragonflies and all the other beetles and bugs and ants and whatever else comes across my consciousness. Sometimes feel the wind, and some days, especially now that it's rainy season coming, really, really intense lightning and thunder. Like I've never seen lightning like this or heard thunder so loud like it is here. And once again, that's nature, and it may sound scary, and it was scary at sometimes, and I'd just jump out of my bed hearing thunder wake me up. But I'm so grateful for this new home in this present moment. And the reason I was able to move is twofold. One, trusting the universe and my intuition to guide me here. And two, creating this platform, my spiritual coaching business, in order to make this possible so I'm not tied to a specific job and a specific place. Wow, I'm looking up and I'm seeing, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. These birds, there's 3 sets of couples, and they all flew out in 3 different directions. And it looked like there was a fork, like if you imagine a chicken foot, there's 3 pegs and they're all going separate directions together, like in pairs. And they turned around and united and went the same direction back. And that's like such a beautiful symbolism as I'm talking about this. Like you might be imagining like how am I going to get there, and I can go this direction or that direction or this direction, and I don't know which one to choose. And it's just like the symbolism I saw for you right now, this message coming through is you will end up going the same direction no matter what direction you choose. It's just listening to your intuition and actually taking action when it feels aligned. And I did that over and over again, and it brought me here to this beautiful moment where I feel so blissful and free. So let's talk about fear of judgment. There's a lot of you who are transforming and on your spiritual path, and there's resistance to showing up truly as yourself, who you are now in this present moment on social media. That's one group of you I want to speak to. And the other group is those who really want to show up in your business. You want to create a business, and maybe there's fear of just even showing up on social media in general. So overall, this resistance you may be feeling for showing up online comes down to the fear of judgment, typically. What will my friends think of me? What will my family think of me? What will just strangers think of me online, right? Do they think I'm a fraud? Do they think that I'm crazy and I'm, should be like in a loony bin because of the spiritual talk and energy and spirit guides and all these other things you're experiencing? Or maybe it's judgment that people are going to judge you because, you were doing one thing for so long, work, and now you've discovered this new path of being a tarot reader and intuitive, and you're finally coming out of the closet about it. And you're afraid potentially that people will judge you, that who are you to start being the expert or think you're intuitive or better than the other? And this fear is really common. It's so common. All of us experience this as we're showing up as our authentic selves. And there's so many layers to this that I can go into. So the easiest way I can teach is through my own experience. And sometimes I feel fearful, even I'm sharing this vulnerability with you, of sharing my own experiences because I feel like I'm talking about myself so much. And I know that's my own limiting belief, because one thing I get uncomfortable doing is talking about myself, which you may be surprised because that's what I do mostly on social media. But in person, it's harder for me. But I share my experience as a way to teach, and that's the easiest way for me to teach. So when I first started showing up online, there was a lot of resistance to sharing the spiritual side because, one, I hadn't really connected with very many people that were going through what I was going through. I was really new to Instagram, and so I didn't really understand how it worked. And so there was a lot of loneliness, and I didn't have as much comfort and support or a community or sisterhood yet. So it was just I had the feeling that I needed to start sharing my experiences online, on Instagram specifically. And it was really scary because my boyfriend wasn't very spiritual at the time, and I was surrounded by coworkers who weren't very spiritual, and I felt very alone. The only person I had to talk to was my mom, who was also going through a really, really deep awakening. And so there was a lot of resistance, and I had these goals of creating a blog and then being a coach. I saw my vision. This was 3 years ago, and I saw the vision. I had the calling to be a life coach. And I saw some people I looked up to and influencers on social media and Instagram that I followed that I really looked up and aspired to be, but I saw them with hundreds and thousands of followers, or even, tens of thousands of followers. And I was like, wow, they've been doing this for so long. How am I going to start? And how am I going to make a difference? And I don't have any training or certifications. People are going to be like, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she doesn't have the certification to back it up. So there's all these fears of what people would think of me for showing up. And there came points where I was really leaning into my intuition and learning to play with listening to my intuition 3 years ago, and just journaled a lot. I remember journaling. This was a time when I journaled a lot about all of my feelings, and I started just writing blogs on typing them up on my notes on my phone whenever I felt some download coming through, even though I didn't know what a download was at the time. And breaking through this, one, by taking action and writing blogs, even if they weren't being posted, I was taking the action of writing them, so I had this content available to start showing up and sharing. And two, journaling about it and following other people that inspired me. And then also, what really shifted for me was going to a live event that pushed me to see what was possible, and start making goals. Okay, where do you see yourself in 1 year? And I started writing about seeing myself on stage, even though I had a tiny, tiny following on Instagram, and just started sharing. And that just pushed me to that next level of okay, it's possible. Other people can do it. I can do it too. And had to in really rationalizing with these egoic thoughts of oh, people are going to judge you, and it's too hard to get where you want to go. These people have so much success. It's going to be so hard to do. And really unraveling those limiting beliefs one by one, and combating those objections in my mind and the fear. And once again, a lot of it came back to fear of judgment. And I am one that is a recovering people pleaser, and I don't like to use labels, but yeah, I'll use a label. I am still even battling. There's layers and layers of this, of people pleasing. I think fear of judgment ties into people pleasing a lot of the time, especially for women. I don't want to be what's the word? Generalizing? I don't know if that's a word, but I'll use it. But very commonly, girls were taught to be good girls and to be quiet and liked and, follow orders and rules. And there's a lot of trauma from a lot of us in our childhood from getting rejected if we did something outside the norm or the collective thought. And that goes as little as, being on the playground and you ask to be a part of a playing circle or foursquare, and the kids are like, no, because maybe your clothes weren't cool enough for them. And one kid decided that they were the leader, and they said, no, you can't join because you're not cool enough. And so that fear of judgment starts at a really young age. And so it's programmed in our mind as a survival mechanism to protect ourselves from this judgment, because that means rejection. And rejection means fear. And our biggest fear in our life is death. So then our minds instantly associate fear of rejection or judgment equals death. Therefore, I must protect myself at all costs to avoid, quote unquote, this feeling of death. So this protected us and served us for so long, but now it's time for us to combat this limiting belief of the fear of judgment, because it's holding you back from your dreams and your mission, your purpose in life. Right? Your calling is to show up online and to share all these beautiful insights and downloads and intuitive gifts that you're now discovering with the world to help heal. And yet it's your own internal ego or mind that is holding you back.
Oh, hey girl, hey! Thanks for listening to this brief interruption, but I have something important to share with you. The Passion to Profit course is now open and accepting applications. So if you are desiring to launch your dream business and create a profitable online coaching business, or you already are an existing online coach and you're looking to grow and scale and attract more of your dream clients to eventually ditch your 9-to-5 job or corporate job, then this course might be the perfect match for you. So if you're interested in applying to see if you're a good fit, then go ahead and go to the show notes and click on the link in the show notes to apply now. And we hope to see you on the other side of the course to really step into your true calling and manifest the freedom-based lifestyle you've always desired. And thanks for listening, and let's get back to the show now.
And someone actually shared this with me on Instagram, which it was so simple but profound the way he phrased it. He said something about, people are waiting for you to show up. Like, their request, their calling from the universe is being manifested through you. So by you not showing up, you are blocking their manifestation from happening. They are manifesting in your life, and they are waiting for you to help them, to heal them, to support them with your gifts as a coach, a light worker, a healer. And so when you look at it from that perspective, isn't it quite silly to try to protect yourself from potentially one person who judges you that you may not even ever hear? It may be just a thought or a comment from a family member or someone online. But that one person is going to hold you back from healing so many other people and helping support them along their path. Right? Really ask yourself that. Is it worth it to hold yourself back because of that fear that has not happened, but it's a potentiality? But then there's factually many people out there that are waiting for your service to help support them and to support you in your own dreams and desires, right? So this fear of judgment is a really tricky one, and there's many layers to it. It could be that even maybe you've already started your business and you've overcome that initial fear of judgment, but now maybe you're starting to post and now you want to do YouTube and be on video, and that's another level. of the fear of judgment. Maybe you got really comfortable being behind a picture and a caption, but now you're being called by your guides, your higher self, to be on video, and you're like, ooh, I don't feel comfortable. I need to write down every single point, and what if I get off track and people are going to judge me? That ego speaking up from that perspective of that next level you're being called to, and being afraid of that judgment. Or maybe you're afraid to just quit your job to do this calling full time, and you're afraid that your family will judge you because they think you quit on your all of the hard work you've had in your life. That's me personally. I had that fear, and that actually happened to me. And it was beautiful how I was able to transmute that judgment from my father into really when I stood in my ground and was proud of what I did, even though I didn't know what was going to happen, like how I was going to be supported financially. I trusted, and through that trust in myself, my father trusted me and supported me even more. So it's amazing how you can transmute these fears, or the potential of you think your family and your friends and how they're going to respond, but then really you're creating their response. Like literally you're creating the way they respond to you through your own fear. So really thinking about that and looking internally at these fears that are coming up and questioning, okay, is this my intuition that's helping me and it's not aligned, and asking yourself that, or is this just a fear? Oh, birds are just medicine right now. They keep coming up in this podcast in pairs. And I don't know if this is a sign for you, but you may look up the sign of a bird. And my spirit guide is with us right now. I just saw a hummingbird land on this special tree. This is a beautiful podcast. I hope you're really getting this activation right now. If anything, if this message does not serve you, I know this nature, this medicine, the sound healing of nature is healing you. And so I'll just soften my voice and slow down because my message is done, and let you soak in the beautiful sounds of nature, and maybe even taking a couple deep breaths and trusting yourself and your guides and your future self and your higher self, as we are all here to support you in your path to wherever you desire to be, wherever you're called to be. Just trusting that even if it doesn't make sense, you don't know the how or the next step, you will be supported. You will fully be supported, and there is nothing to fear. You are so strong and resilient and brave. Think of all of the times that you've overcome other fears and challenges with bravado and courage and surrender and trust. And look where it brought you so far. You're so capable. You're so brave and capable. And I love you. The universe loves you. Father Sky loves you. Pachamama loves you. You're here for a divine purpose. And this divine timing and the golden age where there's a big shift that's happening on this planet and you can feel it. If that doesn't motivate you, whew, that's such motivation for me anytime I have a fear, to remember that this is all happening for a reason. So, I hope you enjoyed this podcast and it serves you. As always, I send you so much love and light. Also, as a reminder, I am offering one solo session business strategy, intensives, and they've been going wonderfully for people that have taken advantage of these sessions. For 90 minutes with me, only for $111, which is an amazing price, you will get any blocks cleared that are blocking you currently in your business or your spiritual journey. If you need clarity in your business, trying to understand what exactly is my purpose, what exactly am I creating with this business, or maybe if you're looking for a sales strategy to start bringing more clients in, creating a strategy around that sales and growing your social media following, get a marketing strategy. It can be all of those that we cover on that session, or maybe one specific or two specific things you need help with. In these intensive sessions, we will cover that and help you unblock anything that's holding you back in your business or personally, because honestly, they're both intertwined, personal and business and spirituality. It's all one and the same. I can support you confidently. I can support you and activate you and help you along your path of your light worker duties and calling. So if you want to, go to my link in my bio on Instagram or check out the show notes. They should be linked up in the show notes below. If they're not, go to my Instagram at Bekah Komar and click on my Linktree bio and you'll see the session you can book on my calendar. And I'd love to chat with you and support you along your journey. These sessions are very activating. I confidently can say that you will manifest whatever your intention is through that call. It will be manifested through the session. So check that out. Once again, I'm sending you so much love and light. And until next time, bye guys.